Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Nigel Bajos, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a review of a shoulder rig. Now, keep in mind, this shoulder rig was sent to me by Imorden, and the shoulder rig we're going to be looking at is this guy right here. This is a shoulder rig, like I said, by Imorden. I don't know the exact model number, but I'll put that down right here. So this is actually like the first shoulder rig that I've used for an extended period of time. Most of the stabilization tools that I use are like monopods or tripods or gimbals. And you might be wondering why you would need a shoulder rig like this. And basically you'll see these types of rigs used in documentaries, feature films, music videos, that type of stuff. And what it basically does is it gives you 3 points of contact. So one on your shoulder, and then 2 hand grips, and sometimes there's even like an EVF that you can have your eye up to like this. So it actually, instead of holding it like this and doing all the movements like this, with like your hands, you have 3 points of contact, and then you use your torso as the pivoting point, which actually creates a lot smoother looking video. Shoulder rigs like this come in handy when you're filming inside of cars or in situations where you're gonna get a lot of vibrations from the ground, whereas using like a monopod or a tripod, all those vibrations are gonna be transferred up into your footage. But if you're using a shoulder rig like this, your body kind of absorbs those vibrations and you can still keep the camera really nice and steady. And getting steadier shots when I want to do some pans or tilts, this is a really good tool to use for that. So this was sent to me by Imorden. That doesn't mean that I have to say anything nice about it really. This is going to be, again, an unbiased review, and I'm going to tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So let's start with the cons first of this rig. Now, typically with rigs like this, the majority of the weight will be centered on your shoulder, which is the way it's supposed to be, because that takes the fatigue off of your hands. But with this, all of the weight is out in front of you and there's barely any weight on your shoulder. So really all of this shoulder pad is doing is just providing another point of contact. And you should have, like your elbows locked like this, and that'll, reduce fatigue. But really, after a while, your arms will start feeling fatigue because all of the weight is out in front of you. Now, there are 15mm like clamp weight systems that you can get. I'm not really sure if Imorden makes their own, but I think that they probably should. They could probably make it a little bit better than the ones that I've seen online. But it's just basically like a clamp that goes on the end of a shoulder rig like this, and it counterbalances the weight. So instead of all of the weight being out here in front of you, some of it would be counterbalanced back there. So that's one thing that, if you're gonna use a shoulder rig like this, just, keep in mind that I would definitely recommend getting a counterweight for the back so that all of the weight wouldn't be out here on your arms. So another con, now this is probably just with the model that I was sent, is that the base plate rises up and down to adjust, where you need your camera to be. But this one, as you can hear, this base plate is kind of loose, and I've tried really hard to like wrench it down, but I think there's just a little bit of give there, which shouldn't be there if you're trying to keep your camera as stable as possible. So I'm not sure if this is just a quality control issue. I really highly doubt that every shoulder rig that Imorden's been sending out has this issue with it, but that's just an issue that I got with mine. That's just the one, small gripe that I have with it. And then really everything else is great. The only small complaint that I might be able to find is just the green color. That's kind of Imorden's thing. Like all of their gear has like this green color to it. And guys, green is like one of my favorite colors, but sometimes on like a professional set, I kind of like just having black gear, especially when I'm filming weddings. I don't like to have any color on my gear at all, so I can just kind of fade into the background and you don't necessarily see this big camera rig. But anyways, that's just a really small complaint. Everything else about this rig is really solidly built. All of the 15mm rods are capped at the ends with these nice little screw caps on them, and everything is super solid. All the knobs, everything that you see that's connected to a 15mm rod on this rig is adjustable with these knobs. And what's cool about these knobs is that most of them you can pull up and then wrench them back, so you don't have to like keep on turning them. You can kind of turn it like a ratchet, which I think is pretty cool. I always appreciate that little feature when they added into these little, turn knobs. But yeah, the hand grips feel, you know, really, you know, comfortable. They're just kind of like bike handle style grips, but they feel good. They're not gonna slip around or whatever. But yeah, everything else about this is really great. The base plate here, you can adjust forward and back, and that just depends on what kind of camera you're using. And I actually added a little quick release here so I can just take my camera on and off like that. But I'll wrench this down. But yeah, all in all, I actually really like this rig. It does what it's supposed to do, which is, you know, provide more points of contact and give you a much smoother shot when you're, you know, filming handheld. And you can definitely tell that like the little like micro jitters just aren't there when you're using this, which I think is a really good thing. Even if you have an image stabilized lens and you're shooting handheld, having a rig like this is just gonna make your shots way smoother. So yeah, this is a really cool rig, and what's nice is that since this is a 15mm rod-based system, you can add whatever you want to this shoulder rig. You can like, you know, put like a monitor arm right here and have a monitor. You could attach, you know, more 15mm rods to the front and put a matte box. You could like really rig this out. That's not really my style. I try to keep things as minimal as I possibly can, but yeah, I'm actually really impressed with this rig. For my first shoulder rig that I've ever like had to use, this one was really pleasure to use. So thank you to Imorden for sending this out to me, and if you guys would like to pick it up, I'll have an Amazon link in the description below. But yeah, that pretty much summarizes the review of this Imorden shoulder rig. I've been pretty impressed with the products that I've seen Imorden put out. I've used a couple of their products before, like, you know, their stabilizers and a couple other things. They're actually like really solidly built, and I think that they're a really good option if you're looking for good quality camera equipment. And just another thing, like if you buy this shoulder rig, you can use it in other ways too. Like you don't have to use it in a shoulder rig configuration. In fact, the configuration that I've used since I've had this rig is one like this. Just give me a second. This shoulder pad, the 15mm rods unscrew, so you can just take this off pretty easily. So I'll do that real quick. So once you take the shoulder pad off, you can actually use it in a different configuration. And I know you're saying, okay, well, what's the point of using it like this? Well, check this out. Since everything is connected via 15mm rod, all you have to do is just unscrew this, put it up about like, I'd say like that probably work, you know, a little bit. Put it up just like that, and then boom, you have a fig rig. And you see fig rigs, or you know, rigs such as this used in a lot of like war films and action films, because if you still want like that shaky cam footage but you don't want it like overly shaky, what you got to do is get your hands away from the camera but still, you know, be able to move it as if you're doing like a handheld shot. So that's what's cool about these 15mm rod camera rig systems, is that you can, you know, modify them however you want, or like buy other pieces and add it to it, and you can just, you know, create your own custom rig. So yeah, that was my review of this Imorden shoulder rig. Like I said, the link to pick it up will be in the description below. If you guys like this video, it'd be great if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.